All right. So you want a job as a production plant crane operator. We're talking about moving massive stuff with like pinpoint accuracy and keeping a whole factory floor humming. Sounds kind of cool, right?
Definitely cool.
But the interview, that's where the real heavy lifting is.
Yeah, for sure.
Good thing we've got like a mountain of RoleCatcher intel to, help you totally nail it.
Absolutely.
We're talking actual interview questions they give you, insider tips from this awesome career guide they have. And we'll get into how their AI can like give you a real leg up in the whole process, ready to get craned up.
I like that. Get craned up. But yeah, you're right. It's not just about, working the machine. It's about showing them you can handle it. In the interview, I mean.
Exactly. So let's say like they hit you with that classic first question, right? How did you become interested in working as a production plant crane operator? Seems simple enough, but what are they really getting at?
It's your chance to show some passion, Like, connect with them. Don't just say, I like big machines. Tell them about the feeling of, like, responsibility, precision, even.
Being a part of something bigger.
Yeah. Think about what really drew you in, Maybe it's the challenge of, like, moving those heavy loads in a tight space or knowing that everyone on the floor is counting on you to keep things safe.
Show them you get it.
Exactly.
Okay. Next question. What experience do you have operating cranes or other heavy machinery? What if you haven't actually been like a dedicated crane operator before?
Yeah, no worries. This is where you talk about your transferable skills.
Transferable skills.
Right. Like, have you ever used a forklift?
Okay, yeah.
Driven a truck, anything where you had to be super careful, follow all the safety rules, that all counts.
Makes sense.
And be specific. Don't just say, yeah, I used a forklift. Tell them how long, what kind of forklift, what your responsibilities were.
So it's all about showing them you have the core skills, even if it's on a smaller scale.
Exactly. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can really help you out. It can analyze the job description and pick out those keywords so you know exactly which skills to emphasize.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's like having a personal coach, making sure your answers really hit the mark.
I like it. Okay, next question. This one's a biggie. How do you ensure the safety of yourself and others when operating a crane? This feels like it goes beyond just knowing, like, the rule book, right?
You got it. They want to see you're proactive about safety. Anyone can memorize a manual,
Right.
but they want someone who lives and breathes it,
So what kind of things would impress them?
Think about it. Pre-operation checks. Are there any problems? Is a load balanced? Secured properly? Then, how about communicating with your team on the ground, making sure everyone's in position, on the same page?
Yeah, that's key.
And always, always double-checking those load limits. It shows you're not just operating a machine, you're managing risk. Taking responsibility for everyone's well-being.
Being a leader, even if you're up in the cab.
Exactly. And you know what? RoleCatcher's AI can actually give you feedback on how well you're conveying that leadership in your answers. It can even suggest ways to, like, sound more confident, more competent.
That's wild. Okay, let's talk about pressure for a sec. How do you handle unexpected situations or emergencies while operating a crane? That one would make me nervous.
Sure.
What if you haven't exactly had a major crane emergency?
That's where having a good story comes in handy. Think of a time you had to think fast, stay calm under pressure, maybe a power outage while you were using some other equipment.
Okay.
Tell them about it. How you assessed the situation, what steps you took to make sure everyone was safe.
Show them you can handle it, even when things get, like, a little hairy.
Exactly. And again, you can practice those stories with RoleCatcher. Their AI will analyze your response and give you tips on how to structure it, what to emphasize, that kind of thing.
Wow, it's like having, like, a secret weapon. Okay, moving on. This next question is all about time management. How do you prioritize your tasks and manage your time effectively while operating a crane? Why is that so important in this line of work?
Well, think of it this way. A crane operator is like the conductor of an orchestra.
Okay.
You've got a million things going on at once, deadlines to meet, safety protocols, it's a lot. And being able to manage your time effectively, prioritize tasks, that's how you keep everything running smoothly and safely.
So how do you show them you've got that, like, time management thing down?
Be specific. Don't just say, I'm organized. Tell them about your system. Do you use checklists? What scheduling techniques work for you? The more concrete, the better.
Prove it to them. You're not just winging it up there.
Right. And again, RoleCatcher can help you figure out which organizational skills are most important to highlight for this particular job.
It's amazing what AI can do these days. Okay, next up. This question really speaks to teamwork. Can you describe a time when you had to work collaboratively with others to complete a project or task? Because let's be real, a crane operator can't exactly work in a silo.
Absolutely not. You're constantly communicating with the ground crew, the riggers, signal people. It's a team effort all the way.
So what makes a good answer here?
Think back to a project where you had to work closely with others. It doesn't even have to be crane related.
Well,
What was your role? How did you contribute to the team's success? Were there any challenges? And how did you overcome them together?
it's all about showing you can, play nice in the sandbox, even when you're like 50 feet up in the air.
Exactly. And again, you can run your answer by RoleCatcher's AI. It can help you really highlight those teamwork skills that this particular employer is looking for.
This AI is like having a cheat code for job interviews. Okay, next question. This one's about the equipment. How do you ensure that the crane is properly maintained and serviced? This seems like another chance to play up that safety-first attitude.
For sure. This goes way beyond just like keeping your cab tidy.
Right.
It's about showing them that you get it, that regular maintenance is non-negotiable, that you're going to take care of that crane like it's your own.
So what kind of things would really impress a hiring manager here?
Talk about daily inspections, checking those cables, hooks, brakes, anything that could be, a safety hazard.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mention that you're all over those maintenance logs, the schedules, and if you've got any experience with like even basic troubleshooting, fixing minor stuff.
That's huge.
Definitely bring that up. Shows you're not afraid to get your hands dirty and you want to keep that crane in tip-top shape.
It's about taking ownership, right?
Yeah.
Showing them you're not just an operator, you're like a guardian of this massive piece of machinery.
Yeah, 100%. And this is actually where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful.
Oh, how so?
They've got this feature that analyzes job descriptions and tells you which maintenance skills are most important in that specific industry or even for that specific role.
So you can tailor your answer to exactly what they're looking for?
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. Here's a question about staying ahead of the game. How do you stay up to date on industry trends and best practices for crane operation? Because this field is always changing, right?
Always.
So how do you show them that you're all about that continuous learning?
It's about showing them you take initiative, that you're hungry to learn new things. So mention industry publications you follow, maybe online forums where you connect with other operators, training programs you've taken, even ones you want to take in the future.
It's about showing that you're not content with just the bare minimum.
Yeah.
You want to be the best.
Exactly. And with RoleCatcher, you can even put those professional development things on your profile and their AI can help you work them into your answers.
Wow. Okay. Time for a question that probably makes everyone a little uncomfortable.
Oh boy.
Here it is. How do you handle conflict or difficult situations with other workers or supervisors on the job site?
Yeah.
Everyone's got a story, right?
Oh yeah.
So how do you handle this one without, throwing anyone under the bus?
The key is don't dwell on the negative.
Okay.
This isn't about bad-mouthing your old coworkers. It's about showing how you communicate, how you solve problems.
So focus on a time you resolved a conflict in a positive way.
Exactly. Think of a time when you had a disagreement with someone but managed to find common ground. Maybe by listening to them, talking it through, finding a solution that worked for everyone.
Show them you can handle those tricky situations.
Yes, with grace and professionalism. And of course, RoleCatcher's AI can give you feedback on this answer too, just to make sure you're hitting the right notes. Highlighting those conflict resolution skills.
They really thought of everything with this AI, huh? Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here, from safety protocols to dealing with difficult coworkers and everything in between. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, RoleCatcher's career guide for production plant crane operators.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like it's packed with useful info.
It really is. They've done a fantastic job of gathering advice from people who have been there, done that, experienced crane operators who know the ropes.
What were some of the biggest takeaways for you? What really stood out?
Well, one thing I thought was really cool was how they break down the different stages of a crane operator's career.
Right.
What does a typical day look like when you're first starting out versus, 5-10 years down the line?
So you can see the potential career path.
Exactly. They explain, for example, how someone just starting out might spend most of their time on those more standardized cranes, moving things like pallets, containers, really building those fundamental skills.
Laying the groundwork.
Exactly. And then they contrast that with a more experienced operator, someone who might be handling more complicated loads, maybe using specialized cranes for very specific tasks, or working in tighter spaces with more obstacles to navigate.
So there's like a whole other level of problem solving and strategy involved as you progress.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the tasks themselves. They actually have profiles of real-life crane operators at different points in their careers, sharing their stories, the challenges they face, the things they've learned along the way.
That's awesome. It makes it feel more real, like
Yeah.
less intimidating when you can see how someone else carved their own path.
For sure. And they also stress how important it is to never stop learning. Even if you've been doing this for years, there's always something new to discover.
The industry's always changing.
Exactly. So they talk about going to conferences, getting certified on new crane models, even just staying active in online forums to keep up with the latest trends and tech.
It's not just a job, it's a career.
Exactly. And I think that's what I liked most about RoleCatcher's Guide. They get it, It's not just about finding a job, it's about finding a career path that you're passionate about, that challenges you, that lets you keep growing and learning.
Yeah, finding something that keeps you excited to go to work every day.
Exactly.
Seriously, RoleCatcher really delivers on these career guides. They don't mess around.
Right. It's like they have this secret decoder ring for what those hiring managers are thinking.
Totally. Okay, one last question, and this one trips people up all the time. Why are you interested in working for this company? Sounds like a no-brainer, but why is it such a big deal to nail it?
Because it shows them you're not just sending out random applications, Like you specifically want this job at this company.
So no just repeating what's on their website, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Definitely not. You got to do your homework. Look at their projects, their company culture, what they stand for. Maybe they have a stellar safety record, or maybe they're like leading the charge on sustainable crane tech. Whatever it is, find something that really clicks with you and be ready to explain why it matters.
So show them that your values line up with theirs.
Exactly. That you're not just looking for any crane operator gig, you're looking for the right fit.
Like you're not just going to operate their crane, you're going to represent them.
100%. That kind of enthusiasm, that genuine interest, it goes a long way, especially in a competitive job market like this one.
That's what I love about these deep dives we do. It's not about like memorizing the right answers. It's about showing up with confidence, being yourself, and knowing your stuff.
Absolutely. Knowing what you bring to the table, understanding the industry, being able to explain why you're the perfect candidate for the job, and tools like RoleCatcher, they can give you that extra boost of confidence.
Like having a secret weapon, right?
Totally. So yeah, with the right prep and a good dose of self-belief, you'll be well on your way to landing that dream job.
Couldn't have said it better myself. To all you listeners out there, good luck with your job hunt. We're rooting for you.